Welcome back. Good to see you all here. In our previous interactions, we covered research paradigms such as positivism, post-positivism. We covered constructivism, pragmatism. The fifth one is, which is quite popular, is critical theory. Critical theory is its use is it's basically an interdisciplinary research design which uses ideas from sociology, cultural theories, philosophy to understand social structures and understand how the social structures are maintained or influenced by different forces, be it political forces in the society or economic forces, other social variables that influence the social structures. And critical theory is unique in the sense that as a research model, as a research paradigm, it really focuses on bringing social justice through research, removing inequality in society. And they do that by critically examine social structures and how those social structures are governed by different forces in the society to maintain their interest, to keep doing, to maintain their power so that they keep having those privileges. So critical theory looks at all these different variables to understand these power relations in the society and how that influence people's lives. So as we have been doing in other approaches, paradigms, let's focus our conversation on nature of reality, nature of knowledge, and values and ethics in this paradigm. So in critical theory paradigm, thinking about the nature of reality, the first assumption that this paradigm has is it's very similar to constructivism, that reality is socially constructed. It's very similar to constructivist. However, they add another layer to that thing, which is that this social reality, which is constructed through social interaction, is imbued with power relations and inequalities. So social reality is out there, which is being constructed based on our interaction with the society. However, we see this social reality in the context of how these power structures exist in society. So the reality is socially constructed, but it's also important to acknowledge that there are power dynamics going on, inequality, social justice related issues in this reality. So socially constructed, but at the same time being aware that these social realities are influenced by these different factors, particularly imbued with power relations and inequalities. Another thing that critical theory assumes about social reality is our understanding of reality is shaped by different forces. So as I said previously, social reality is constructed based on our interaction. But this social reality that we see is shaped by different forces, and these forces try to maintain the status quo. Uh, so the people in power, they try to maintain their power. They try to maintain the status quo, and the social reality is influenced by factors such as political factors, uh, social factors, economic factors. All these different factors, they shape the social reality that we experience in society. So that's, they talk about the nature of reality. Another thing that critical theory emphasizes when it comes to the nature of reality is uh, reality is not neutral or objective. It is like influenced by other factors such as ideologies as well, and narratives that serve to legitimize and continue domination and inequality in the society. So you see that this critical theory paradigm is, as I said previously, is primarily focused on using research as a tool to propagate social justice and human rights for people in society. So these are the few ideas under the nature of reality in critical theory. That reality is socially constructed, it is imbued with power relations and inequalities in the society. And this reality that we see, that we experience, is shaped by other forces, political forces, social forces, economic forces, particularly people who are in power. They are the one who try to maintain the status quo, and they are the one who try to shape the reality with the power they already enjoy and maintain that. Uh, Critical theory also posits that the reality we experience is also governed by the ideologies or narratives which are used by people in power to again maintain the power that they enjoy. So these are a few ideas about critical theory in terms of what is reality. Now let's move to the other concept, which is the nature of knowledge, epistemology. So how do we know this knowledge? How do we know this reality, which is being shaped by all these different forces, political, economic, social, and all these different forces that govern the reality, social reality. So talking about the nature of reality, the first major idea, critical theory says that knowledge is a product of social processes and are influenced by power and interest. So, as I said, that knowledge is shaped by different forces, and it is, we already talked a little bit about all these different forces: social, economic, political, etc. Now, this knowledge is what is the purpose of this knowledge overall? The purpose of knowledge, according to critical paradigm, is to maintain status quo, to maintain existing social structures. So for a critical theory researcher, we have to examine the knowledge so that we can challenge the existing knowledge, and through creating new knowledge, or by challenging the existing knowledge, we can challenge the social structures, or we can change the status quo and bring positive change in society. So for a critical theorist, research is not an academic endeavor. It's not like academicians do the research. There is activist aspect of this job, which is that we want to bring social change through our research. So you are you are actively engaged in the research that you are doing through critical theory lens to bring change in people's life, to bring change in society, to challenge existing social structures that perpetuate social injustice, that perpetuate inequality in society. So you use a tool, this critical theory as a lens, as a paradigm, as a tool to to bring positive change in people's life and advocate for people who are voiceless, people who cannot say tell their stories. Another thing that we do as critical theory paradigm is we also believe that the knowledge that we see in society serves the interest of the people in power. And when we examine any knowledge, we also think about whose knowledge is this? Who has created this knowledge? And a key assumption is people in power, they create the knowledge, and that knowledge is there to serve their interest, not the interest of the people in people who are marginalized in society. So as a critical theorist, you help create knowledge that captures the voice of marginalized people. So critical theorists work through their research. They try to bring up the voice of the people who are voiceless, and through their research bring change, and also change the knowledge structure, which is there to serve the people in power. So that's about the nature of knowledge under critical theory. Now let's move to the values and ethics, which is followed in this. But before we move there, another thing I want to talk about is one of the key aim of a critical theorist is to develop critical consciousness through their research work. So what it means to have a critical consciousness. Critical consciousness means that we do not accept a social structure, uh, an ideology just because it is there. We critically examine these structures, these ideologies through a critical lens and challenge those and create new knowledge. The new knowledge which represents the voices from all sections of society, in a way moving towards more social justice for everybody. Coming back to values and ethics under this critical theory, one of the critical values that in terms of ethics and values that we carry as critical theorists is reflexivity. Reflexivity meaning that as a researcher, we are always asking questions. We are always challenging status quo. We are examining all social structures from different viewpoints and try to understand how this knowledge is who this knowledge is serving. Does it serve the people in power, or does it serve everybody within the society? So reflexivity is a big part of ethics under critical theory. Also, as a critical theorist, uh, as I said, that it is a social justice perspective on conducting research. So emancipation, promotion of human rights, empowerment uh, by uncovering and challenging this the current knowledge which is there. So from a researcher perspective, in terms of axiology, values, or ethics, uh, critical theorists are sort of advocate, they are kind of activist that uses research to bring positive change in society. So this approach, this paradigm is unique in that sense that it considers research not as mere act of knowledge generation, but also along with knowledge generation, bringing social change in society, bringing more justice for everybody, uh, alleviating discrimination in society, and promoting human rights for everybody. So that's briefly about critical theory. Thank you.